Hey Mena Warriors, it's Kate and welcome to my channel where you can expect weekly videos from me on a Monday where I discuss all things perimenopause and many menopause. Today I'm actually going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of menopause. If it's the first time you've come across me, I help instill belief in you that you can be even happier and more energized than you may have been pre-menopause. And the reason I know that is because I follow a simple system, the same that countless other ladies follows, and it works. We feel more energized, we're healthier, we're fitter, and we just feel more confident in our skin. I think there's a great thing about getting older is the fact often you actually just don't care what the other people think so much. And that makes a big difference. I'm clearly going to stutter my way through today. If you follow me also on social media, I hang out a lot at Instagram at Kate Hartley UK, and I have a lot of free resources there. If you click the link in my bio, and I post regular workouts, regular updates about menopause, etc., etc. So you can always head over there also and have a quick look to see if there's anything there that I might be able to help you with. So going back to the do's and don'ts of menopause, there's a few of them here. Towards the end, I'm going to talk about a few in the workplace. I don't often talk about the workplace, but I think if you have to go to an office, there are certain things that whether you're an employer or whether you're the employee, that really ought to be put in place to support menopause and perimenopausal women. So firstly, I'm going to start with fitness. Don't do as much cardio as you used to do. I talk to so many ladies who say, I used to do like an hour of cardio every single day, and now I'm running and doing a cardio session, and I'm going spinning, and that's taking me like an hour and a half, and I'm putting on weight, and I don't understand why that is. As we go through the menopause, we actually do need to make a significant change to what we're doing. You want to be replacing your cardio with strength training for several reasons. So too much cardio actually spikes the cortisol levels in our body, which is one of our stress hormones. When our cortisol levels are raised, it also raises our insulin, which is our fat storing hormone. So there's a negative already. It also makes us hang on or pile on belly fat. So if you're getting fatter around your midriff, if you're not managing your stress very effectively, and if you're doing too much cardio, you are going to be contributing to the belly fat. So first and foremost, change what you're doing. Instead of so much cardio, do more strength training. The reason for strength training also is the fact as we get older, our muscles start to atrophy. If we don't use them, unfortunately, they don't just sort of stay unused and a bit weak. They actually atrophy, they break down. Same with our bones. So strength training is incredibly important to make us have strong bones and also strong lean muscles. Also helps keep us flexible, helps us with our mobility and our balance. As we get older, we fall down more often. That's only because our bodies have become weaker and more frail. And if we can keep them strong and lean, and we can practice our proprioception, so how things work in our body more readily, it's going to help prevent us falling over so often. So strength training is incredibly important. Secondly, don't beat yourself up about brain fog and just feeling unclear about what you need to do and just fuzzy. Sometimes if you're anything like me, sometimes you think, I don't even know what I'm thinking, I just know I'm thinking something, and that thought or that something has something to do with something that's probably quite important, but I can't actually string that thought together long enough to even bring the thought to a conclusion. I couldn't even tell you sometimes what that thought would be called because it's too confusing, it's too chaotic in here. Understand, yes, it can be frustrating, but when you've got brain fog, so long as you're doing a few of the things that are going to help reduce the brain fog. So there's a great book by Dr. Lisa Mosconi, Brain Food. I would really recommend you read it. It's fascinating. It will also help prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. But keep away from the booze so much, prioritize your sleep, and you still might have brain fog. I do. I live a really healthy lifestyle. Yes, I'm drinking a bit more wine than I normally do at the moment, but on the whole, I'm pretty healthy, and brain fog has been an issue for me for a period of time. I have set up systems, so I have reminders everywhere. I have a diary, I have a digital diary, I have several digital diaries. I have reminders on my phone. I use Trello, which is a digital system for literally everything. My recent house purchase, buying a new car, recipes, meal planning, my work, my entire business is run on Trello. So if you're thinking, okay, I'd really like to learn about Trello, I've got a free tutorial system on my YouTube channel. Have a look for it, Trello tutorial. You'll find it's really, really interesting. Some of the tutorials are a bit more advanced. Just start at the beginner one and you'll work your way through them. Some of them are really short, you know, specific to one particular query that you may have. But Trello, my entire team pretty much uses Trello. It's brilliant. So don't beat yourself up about brain fog. I think when we have resistance to something that's happening to us, we waste energy on it. There's no point in wasting your energy on it. Focus your energy on finding solutions that are going to support you and work in your favor, and release the resistance to it. It's the same with the frustration at, you know, not being the shape that you used to be. Frustration serves no one. It just sucks away at your energy. So be aware of the fact that you're getting frustrated. Be aware of the fact that you're resisting these things, and just maybe breathe it out. That's why I find these affirmations that I do regularly every day. I listen to them in the morning and the evening, and I write them down in the morning, and I say them out loud in the morning too. There is something so grounding about those, and they help me become more organized because my brain is less cluttered. I have that self-belief, which these affirmations help me to build, I suppose, to create, even on days where it's crazy. And life at the moment is pretty crazy. If you want I've got an affirmations guide. If you want to, it's similar to affirmations. I just think it's a heck of a lot more useful. They work really, really well. So if you want that, just message me and I'll send that through to you. So, you know, release the resistance, release the frustration. Okay. Don't be tempted to burn the midnight oil, whether that's work or party. Yeah, we have to have fun. And there are occasions where, you know, if it's really good fun and you're in the flow of it, I think you can gain energy from having a really good night out with friends. But don't make it a common occurrence, particularly with work. I think, you know, particularly if you run your own business, you're always tempted at night. Oh, I'm in the flow, I'm just going to keep going, work later, and then you just find you're exhausted the next day. You're making poor food choices because you haven't slept well enough. Do prioritize your sleep. That means screens off at least an hour, ideally 2 hours before you go to bed. If you're sensitive to caffeine, don't drink caffeine from midday or 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Make sure you get ultraviolet on your skin during the day. Sleep in a darkened room, sleep in a cool room. Set your bedroom up for success. And while you might be tempted to think, oh, but I like watching films before I go to bed, if you're struggling with your sleep, you're going to have to realize that you need to make a change. So it could be the film and the light that are causing you to sleep badly. So try reading for a while or listen to an audio book. If you find something that's going to captivate your interest, it's going to be a whole lot easier to do. And yeah, you might miss your film for a while, but you'll soon, if you can get something that you're also interested in, there's so much that you can learn. And actually, if I wake up in the early hours, it's lucky I'm single, but I actually put on one of my audio books and I listen to it. It has a sleep mode, so I literally turn it to go to sleep in 30 minutes, and I listen to it. And more often than not, I've actually gone to sleep before it stops, and it just takes your brain away from that internal chatter. So just, you know, make sure that you're prioritizing your sleep. It's really, really important. Avoid numbing your feelings as well. I think it's so easy to think, well, I've had a really tough day, just going to have another glass of wine, and then that other glass of wine turns into another glass of wine or beer or whatever it is. And I'm not anti-alcohol at all. I love wine, beer and whiskey. I really enjoy it. But just be mindful of whether you are numbing your feelings or whether you're just giving yourself a little treat, because you are in the driver's seat. Remember that you are in control. We all, while we might eat mindlessly and drink mindlessly, when we bring our attention to what we're doing, whatever we eat and drink is in our control. There isn't like some other little gremlin inside on the room, you know, with like levers and things making you're gonna go and eat that big bar of chocolate. It's not, it's us. But we often forget that we are in control. So just remind yourself of that. Maybe you need an affirmation. Why am I in control today? So do remember that you have absolute control over where you're at. It's up to you whether you choose to take control. Do not give up. And by that, I mean, don't cut yourself off from key friends and family. Do talk to your significant other half. Do talk to those close to you so that they can understand what you are going through. They are not mind readers as much as you think they might be, and it can be very isolating for them too when they don't understand why you're feeling angry. You might not understand why you're feeling angry too, but at least you can say, it's my hormones, rather than them thinking, well, what have I done now? It's nothing to do with them, it's you. So help them understand that it's this transition that you're going through. And if they feel part of that conversation, they're going to be much more open to supporting you. So do be open with those around you that are in close proximity with you. Don't suffer in silence. Talk to a healthcare professional if you need to. And if you don't get the answer that you want or need, get a second opinion, get a third opinion, get a fourth opinion if you really need to. I know it's not always easy to be recognized as a perimenopausal woman because you're not in the right age category. I wasn't either. It was definitely perimenopause. They tried to give me antidepressants. It's just like, I don't need them. I'm not even bloody depressed. I mean, what if I'd started to take them? It's just like, duh. So remember that you might not, well, you might not understand everything. You don't need to, it's like we put the television on. We don't need to know how the television works. You're having a menopause, an experience of menopause. You don't need to understand the intricacies of all your hormones. Hopefully your healthcare provider does. So, make sure that if you're not getting the answers that you want, keep digging and keep pushing, because that's what they're there for. They're there to help you, not to make you feel less empowered. Okay. Don't skip meals. It's really important that when you are menopausal, that you're eating healthfully and plentifully. All this thing about, yes, there is so much information out there about if you want to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. However, and that sounds, when you hear that, even I think, oh God, restriction and calorie counting, it means I'm going to be starving. And no, it's about eating healthy food plentifully that fills you properly because it's nutritious. So many of us eat a load of rubbish and it's not nutritiously filling. When you use food as fuel, when you're eating high fiber food, when you're eating healthy fats, when you're eating lean protein, it keeps you fuller for longer. When I follow the one of the meal plan or the nutrition systems that I have access to the T, I cannot eat it all, and I lose weight. I feel amazing. I feel like a female Terminator. I literally, my body fat goes like down, and I struggle to eat it all. It keeps your metabolism fired up. But on the same token, avoid snacking. And again, there's quite a lot of, you'll find a lot of people out there saying, no, you have to keep your blood sugars up and level. That is true, but you should be able to achieve that with 3 meals a day or 2 meals a day. I tend to eat just 2 meals a day. I do have a superfood shake in the afternoon with vegetables, with frozen vegetables in it. So you could call that a second meal, a second light meal. When we're going through the menopause, we want to keep our blood sugar levels stable. And that means we don't want to be consistently snacking because we're eating and then so our blood sugars go up and then they start to come down again. And then we're snacking, so our blood sugars go up and they're down again. And then we eat again and the blood sugars go up and then they go back down. When you're just having 2 or 3 regular meals a day, you're having that, you give your blood sugars a chance just to sort of normalize again. And if you're eating high fiber foods as your meal with lean protein and healthy fats, that's going to dampen the effect on your blood sugar levels too. I find following an intermittent fasting regime super productive. And I know when other ladies do it, it works really well for them too. You might think, oh my God, fasting, that's starving. It's not, because starving makes your body goes into survival mode. So you're lifting that stress hormone again. Starving restriction doesn't work long term. Yes, you of course, you're going to lose weight if you starve yourself, but it's not healthy. And we're all about being healthy and balanced here and having plentiful energy to do the things that we want to do. So yes, starvation will work, but it's not a healthy option. So when I do intermittent fasting, I follow a sort of 16-hour off, 8-hour on window. Doesn't matter what time you start your 8-hour window or what time it finishes. You just need to make sure that you're eating and drinking within an 8-hour window. If you're getting up and having a milky coffee and thinking, oh, like 7 o'clock, but you don't eat until 11, you still broke your fast at 7 o'clock because the milk counts. So you don't really want anything until, maybe 8 a.m. till, what was it, 8, 9, 4 o'clock. I tend to do it so 11 a.m. through till 7 o'clock. Is that my 8-hour window? Yeah, 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. So that means I don't eat before 11 a.m. and I don't eat after 7 p.m. in an ideal world. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but the majority of the times it does. And that allows your blood sugars time to really stabilize. It gives your digestive system time to work properly and rest. It gives your liver time to rest and recuperate. Intermittent fasting will get you really, really good results. And no, you don't feel hungry when you're on it. You also need to be eating more protein as a menopausal woman. You want to be having around 1 to 1.5, well, between 1.5 to 2.5 grams per kilogram of weight. If you do strength training workout, you're going to be at the upper level of that. If you're sedentary, you don't need quite so much protein. But as we go through the menopause, we do need protein. Proteins are the building blocks of life. When you think collagen is protein, we just need protein. So make sure that you're eating plenty of protein, and that doesn't have to be meat. I think people assume it has to be meat. It doesn't. Nuts, seeds, Greek yogurt, quinoa, chia seeds. There are loads of different types of protein sources. So just get creative at finding healthy sources of protein depending on what types of food that you eat. Eggs are a great source of protein. Next one is, don't compare your journey to anyone else. We are all uniquely different. And while your best friend or your sister might have a really easy passage through the menopause, you may not. There is no blueprint. There is no one size fits all. And if somebody else is finding it easier than you, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you at all. It's just how the menopause is happening to you. So avoid comparison, because that just makes you feel even worse. Don't rule out things which can help you. Now, my previous Menopause Monday was all about taking action on the 6 big things that that most of us struggle with through menopause. Do explore alternative options. Now, that might mean exploring HRT. It might mean HRT isn't working for you and exploring lifestyle options. There are so many things that we can do to improve our transition through the menopause. So make sure you are open to all of those alternatives. That might be incorporating a healthier lifestyle. But if you're struggling with your symptoms, incorporate it. So next I'm going to talk about menopause in the workplace, or perimenopause in the workplace. Depending on whether you're an employer or an employee, if you are an employer, give your staff leeway to manage their menopausal symptoms more effectively. If they have to wear a uniform, consider a lighter uniform, or that, let them be able to take their blazer off or their jacket off, or take ties off, or whatever it might be. Because when you're having a hot flush, it is really awful, and you need to get as many items of clothing off as possible. And if you're requiring your staff to wear a lot of clothing, or even just some clothing that doesn't allow the skin to breathe effectively, they're really, really going to struggle, and it's going to be incredibly unpleasant for them. And it's not just the hot flush. I don't know about you, but when I have a hot flush, I actually can feel quite nauseous at times. So if you have an influence over the workplace, for the ladies who work there, make sure if they have to wear a uniform, that it's a uniform that is flexible enough for them to manage hot flushes effectively. Allow ladies to have desk fans on their desks. Allow them to sit nearer to an open window. Fresh air, just to have a breeze, is so important when you're having a hot flush. Allow women to have water at their desk. Make sure you've got plentiful sources of fresh water in the office so that people can just go and help themselves to it. Also, encourage an environment where it's easy for menopausal and perimenopausal ladies to talk about their symptoms together. If there's a male manager, make sure women have access to a female member of staff who can support them and listen to their symptoms and help them come up with recommendations to improve the workplace. Possibly even consider having a sort of a monthly or a quarterly forum where you can actually get together and talk openly about your symptoms without any fear of judgment, because it's really hard for somebody. I know I'd have struggled if I was in an office. Even nowadays, I would really struggle to talk to a male manager about my menopausal symptoms, and I probably would feel uncomfortable talking to a lot of female managers as well. I think we have a feel that we have a fear of being judged, and probably a fear that we might lose our job because they can use that against us. This is a natural part of our life and we have to be supported in it. And as an employer, it's really important that you're providing a safe environment, an open environment for your menopausal and perimenopausal ladies to thrive in. If you are a member of staff, then talk to other ladies who you work with. If you have other women that you work with, maybe set up your own quarterly get together so that you can communicate with each other. And if it's not readily available to you within your workplace, maybe if you have a suggestions box or talk to your HR manager, suggest to them that you get somebody in from the outside, a menopause expert, to come in and talk to you to get your questions answered. Could even be through a Zoom. I do group Zoom chats for ladies with menopause symptoms. And it's just, you can have loads of people on the Zoom and you can talk and get your questions answered, and it just helps build a sense of community. And I think that's really, really important, particularly when you might be feeling a little bit isolated and a little bit afraid of how you're going to manage your symptoms in the workplace. So that's it for today. I hope you found that helpful. If there's anything that you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, please let me know. I'll add it to the list. If there's anything that's brought up today with the do's and don'ts, if you think I've missed anything obvious, please let me know. So, drop it in the comments below. And I just thank you for your company. Thank you for taking the time to listen. And I hope you have a great week ahead. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and please give it a thumbs up or give me a follow so that you don't miss out on future episodes. Thanks for your time and I will see you next week.